Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today we're going to talk about Bitcoin and discuss which way is this going to break. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. Now, if we look at our chart here, so we did a video earlier on the pi cycle top indicator. It's not even my indicator, but here we want to talk about some other indicators. And this is the peak logarithmic regression band, which we have not yet had a weekly close in this market cycle, okay? And like the pi cycle top indicator, this one is also fit to 3 data points, right? I mean, it's more or less just fit to these 3 data points, and we discuss where it currently is. And what's interesting is this pink line. This has been our support so far in this bull market. We identified this a couple months ago. Said it seems like, every time we come back down, we're coming back down to that 8-week moving average. And we did it again here, and then we did it again here. And so we've had 4 pretty big tests of the 8-week moving average. But what's interesting is that it feels like it's being squeezed. Like the price is basically just coming back and forth, like being squeezed between the 8-week moving average and the peak logarithmic regression band. Now, the peak logarithmic regression band, again, is only fit to 3 data points. We could easily break this model, but it is just one more model we can look at. And what's interesting is that despite the fact that the weekly closes, or some of the weekly candles have, they have been moving up here, we're still just shy of that peak regression band because it keeps going higher. So back in February, the peak regression band started at 58K. And then back in March, it started at 59K. But today, to get to it, it'd be easier to look at it on a daily time frame, so we have daily updates. The bottom of the peak regression band now starts at a modest $61,217. So we would need to go to that level just to get back into that peak regression band. But the peak, or the top of the regression band actually goes to 90,283. So based on this equation, y equals 10 times a, ln of x minus b, a and b again are fitted coefficients, and x is time, fit to these 3 data points, nothing more, nothing less, each peak. This is the curve you get, and I just added some uncertainty there. And you can see that it essentially ranges from 61,217 up to 90,283. So we have not been able to decisively move into this band yet, but it feels like, right? And I mean, what things feel like are not necessarily how they always play out, but it feels like we are looking for a pretty big move for Bitcoin. Now, I'll be the first to say I really don't anticipate being able to predict short-term moves or anything like that. I've said before, geometric Brownian motion, a random walk, not something we can necessarily accurately predict consistently. But, you look at this and it just seems like we're sort of going between that 8-week and then the peak up here, and then back down, and then back up, and then back down, and then back up. So now the question is, which way are we going to break? Which way is this going to break? Are we going to go into crazy mania and start heading north, where we flirt with, $70,000, maybe higher, 80,000, going to over 90,000 would be the top of this band, and by the time we get to the top, it could be closer to 100,000, because this is moving up every single day, about $70 a day, in fact. So will we go into this crazy manic mode for Bitcoin as we head into, as we really get more into the spring? Or alternatively, is this going to break down just when everyone is thinking that it's about to go, say, to the moon? Is it going to break down and test some lower levels for a while? For instance, maybe the bull market support band, which we should do a weekly update on anyways. It is now currently at 42,635, and that's the 20-week SMA, and the 21-week EMA is now at 43,949. So a pretty big range there. Well, it's not that big, but it's about $1,300 range. And we always know that that's the downside risk if we were to drop to those levels from the current prices. The 20-week SMA is it's about a 29% drop. The 21-week EMA isn't quite as bad, coming in at a more modest 27% drop. That would be, you know, if we were to experience a dump or something from here and we're unable to decisively move into the peak regression band, if we instead say break down to maybe sort of regroup and come back into it later or something, this would be something to look out for. Because if we do come back down, just note where that bull market support is. It's about 42,630, which would basically be about an $18,000 drop in the price of Bitcoin. And remember that so far this cycle looks not so much like the last cycle, but again the cycle before, where we had this major move up where we didn't really test the 20-week, and then whenever we dropped below that 8-week moving average decisively, we did go back to the 20-week, and we actually had a weekly close below it. So if we ever did get that, you know, if that were to happen in this bull market where we got a weekly close below the 20-week moving average, my guess is that, I mean, there probably would be a lot of buying pressure under the 20-week. I mean, there'll probably be a lot of buying pressure at the 20-week if we were to drop to that level. Below it, I imagine a lot of people are going to feel like it's a huge sell on the price of Bitcoin. Altcoins would not be doing so well in that situation. But if this cycle were to emulate 2 cycles ago and we ultimately trended up, you know, maybe it were a double peak cycle or something, then that would be something to look out for. But I think for now, you know, we've said this since November, October. Momentum is hard to stop, right? Momentum is hard to stop. Things that are moving up are more likely to continue moving up than things that are not. And so every single week, the more likely direction is up, and that's what it has remained to be for the last 6 months. Obviously, at some point, that momentum on the macro scale will break. It has not broken quite yet, but I know a lot of people are relatively bullish. A lot of people I also know a lot of people that are relatively bearish, right? I mean, I don't really think the entire market is super bullish. It's easy to say things like that, like, oh, everyone's bullish, so a drop must be coming. On the contrary, I know a lot of people that think a big dump is about to happen, like 40% dump or something. Again, no one really knows what's going to happen. We should just look at the possibilities and try to come up with a plan to at least have a strategy based on whatever happens, right? Whether it means quote unquote buying the dip, or whether it means sort of just holding on to your position and watching to see how high we can truly navigate in the short term. But to me, it seems like, you know, we're going to have a pretty decisive move in the not so distant future. I don't know if it's going to be this coming week or not, but it just feels like this is not going to stay that way too much longer, and we're going to either get a decisive move into crazy mania mode where we go to 70K, maybe beyond, or we come back down and we test some lower levels for a while. Let me know where you guys think we're headed. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Give the video a thumbs up. We also have the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. And we also have the premium list at intothecryptoverse.com if you want access to the premium content that I offer. Weekly reports and videos, the Telegram alerts channel, the TradingView indicators, the risk dashboard, the Into the Cryptoverse app, and more. A whole lot there. So make sure you guys check out intothecryptoverse.com. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see what happens this week. We'll keep a close eye on it. Make sure you subscribe to catch the videos. Thank you guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.